types of pressure groups. Types of pressure groups. And we see there is a very important, you can say, classification that exists. And this classification has been given by two individuals, Almond and Wabha. These two individuals have given that there are primarily four types of pressure groups that exist. I will dictate it also, okay? So focus on understanding. I will dictate this also. And the four types of pressure groups are: first, there is something called as institutional pressure group. Second is associational pressure group. Second is associational pressure group. Third is anomic pressure groups. Anomic pressure groups. And the fourth is non-associational pressure groups. Non-associational pressure groups. Okay. These are primarily the four categorization of pressure groups given by Almond and Baba, and this is the most recognized categorization as well. Okay. Now, when we say institutional pressure groups, what are institutional pressure groups? Again, I'm repeating myself. I will be dictating all of this. Don't worry about it. Okay. Focus on understanding the concept behind it. Institutional pressure groups are some pressure groups which work from within the government. Which work from within the government. They are what? They are they are the ones which are working from within the government. Okay. That means they are a part of the government machinery, though they are not necessarily ministers, but they are the part of the government machinery. They are the part of the government machinery. They are what? They are the part of the government machinery. And they influence policy making from within. What do? They influence policy making from within. They influence policies from within. Clear? And when I say these are institutional pressure groups, they work from within the government machinery and they influence policy making. Who are they? They are primarily civil servants or civil service associations. If you try and understand them from example point of view, if we talk about IAS association, or for that matter, we talk about IPS associations. Okay, IAS association, IPS association, ये वो लोग हैं, they are those who are a part of the government machinery, though they are not ministers, but they are a part of the government machineries. And and what they do is they also influence policies. They are doing what? They are also influencing policies, because ultimately there are some interests that they also have. Tomorrow when you become a part of the bureaucracy, you would always like that the decisions that are being taken by the government, the policies that are being made by the government, these policies always uphold your interest, है ना? You will always want that. आप हमेशा चाहोगे कि आपको जो है ना हमेशा ज्यादा से ज्यादा सैलरीज मिल जाए. You will always want that there would be no such steps which is taken by the government which in any way is in contradiction to your interest. You will always want that. You will always want that. And that is what you have to look at it from the institutional point of view. है ना? Like, see, as civil servants, you or no any bureaucratic institution that is there, it would want to not unduly be influenced or be accountable to the people, है ना? सिविल सर्वेंट्स ये चाहेंगे कि वो जो काम करे, वो जो डिसीजंस ले, वो डिसीजंस ले रहे हैं पर उनको कोई क्वेश्चन ना करे, उन डिसीजंस को कोई भी क्वेश्चन ना करे, ये वो हमेशा चाहेंगे. तो वो इसे किस तरह से विद इन द गवर्नमेंट मशीनरी वो एंश्योर करेंगे कि कोई भी ऐसा लॉ ना बने, कोई भी ऐसी अगर लॉ बनाई जा रही है तो उसमें कुछ स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजंस रहे जिसका फायदा सिविल सर्वेंट्स को हो. दे विल ऑलवेज वांट दैट. क्लियर? दैट इज हाउ an institutional pressure group works from within the government. It functions from within the government and protecting their interest from within the government. That is how it works. Okay. Then comes the second pressure group or the second type, which is associational groups. Now, what are these? These are organized specialist groups specialized groups for promoting specific interests, for promoting specific interests. These are organized specialized groups and they do what? They promote specific limited interest. Specific interest, or you can say limited interest. See, the most important feature of an associational pressure group is that they are organized. That means there are associations. They are working as formal associations. Like if you take an example, I gave you an example of SOCHEM. Yes, I think yesterday itself we were talking about SOCHEM. What is this? It's an organization promoting the interest of what? Interest of the business personnel, है ना? That is सिर्फ और सिर्फ बिजनेस पर्सनल का इंटरेस्ट है और किसी का नहीं. एंड दे आर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड. दैट मींस उनका एक प्रेसिडेंट होगा, देयर वुड बी अ वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, देयर वुड बी अ सेक्रेटरी, जनरल सेक्रेटरी, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. ओके, सो दिस इज एन एग्जांपल. सिमिलरली, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट स्टूडेंट्स एसोसिएशन, like if we take an example of students association like Delhi University Students Union, again it is an organized institution promoting the interest of only the students, nothing else, है ना? And they are organized. There is a president, there would be a vice president, there would be a secretary, there would be a treasury, all of this would be there. Okay. Similarly, if we talk about, another example, teachers association or farmers association, all these are organized associations and they work towards what? They work towards promoting limited or specific interest. They do what? They work towards promoting only specific interests. Like they work towards promoting the interest of farmers, teachers, students, business interest. That's it. Okay. That is what is an associational pressure group. Then comes anomic pressure groups. Now, what is anomic pressure groups? Anomic pressure groups are those groups which are primarily, they are not organized, they are not organized, generally they are spontaneous, breakaway groups. They generally adopt unconstitutional means. They generally adopt unconstitutional. They generally adopt unconstitutional means, like example of these unconstitutional means are what? Violence. And when we talk about organizations like Naxal organization, terrorist organizations, they are examples of anomic pressure groups. Okay. And finally, the non-associational pressure groups. When I say non-associational pressure groups, that is, they are kinship and lineage based groups. Kinship and lineage. When I say kinship and lineage based groups, so what do I mean by that? What I mean is that they are formed on the basis of identities which are ethnic identities, or they are class groups, caste groups, religion based groups, etc. And non-associational because they have informal structure, not like associational groups where they are completely formal by nature. These are informal. They have informal structures. Example, you must have heard about such organizations: Rajput Sabha, Brahman Sabha, etc. These are primarily an example of non-associational pressure groups. Okay. So, institutional groups which work from within the organization, associational groups which are organized having limited interest, anomic, not organized, unconstitutional means like Naxal groups, non-associational, kinship and lineage based groups primarily based on ethnic, class, caste, religious identities, and they have informal structures like Rajput, Brahman Sabha, etc., etc. Okay, these are the examples. Okay, now you can just write this. There is no need for dictating it. I have written it point wise, so you can write this. If you have not written it, I'll give you a minute or two. You can just write this, copy this down, and I hope you have understood it. Anjali, NGOs and pressure groups that are there is an overlap between the two. There is an overlap between the two. Okay. Some NGOs are pressure groups, but not all NGOs act as pressure groups. Okay. So that understanding you will have once I come to our discussion of the topic NGOs. So when I come to the topic NGOs, there I will be discussing it. Okay. But yes, there are some pressure groups which are definitely working like NGOs. Yes, the organized, no, the associational pressure groups, Diksha, they are recognized by law. They are recognized by law. Okay. They are recognized by law. So, when you say what are the mechanism utilized by institutional pressure groups, okay, you're talking about institutional pressure groups. The mechanism is, see, you are an individual who is a part of the government machinery. So you will have the capability to influence the government, because as a civil servant, you are very much involved in the policy process, though it is not your discretion to come up with policies. It's the discretion of the government, that is the Council of Ministers. But the Council of Ministers do rely on civil servants. So what you do is you allow, no, or you use this in order to influence the policy process. Okay, that is first thing. Second is, the second question that you have the second question that you have asked is whether they are permissible by law or not. So yes, civil servants and civil service associations are permitted under the law. Okay, I'll use the next slide and I will discuss a specific aspect so that you are absolutely clear with it. Okay, but yes, they are permitted under law. As soon as you have written this, please inform me so that we can move to the next slide. Okay, as soon as you have written this. Today I would like to complete the majority discussion of pressure groups. Very likely I would like to complete all of it. But anyways, majority part of this discussion I would like to complete. Institutional pressure groups can be formed by judges. I did not get your question, Pratibha. RSS is not a, remember, RSS is not a group based on religion. RSS is a particular group which is based on this concept of, no, this traditional concept of no, Hindustan. It's a very difficult idea to explain it at this particular time right now. Okay, but yes, what you have to understand is that RSS is a organization primarily which which advocates ethnicity more than religion. वो एथनिसिटी बेस्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जरूर है. तो अगर आप उसे नॉन एसोसिएशनल प्रेशर ग्रुप में कैटेगराइज करने की चाहते हो तो आप कर सकते हो. दैट्स नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. बट दे कैन ऑल्सो बी कैटेगराइज्ड एज अ पार्ट ऑफ एन एसोसिएशनल प्रेशर ग्रुप, क्योंकि वो बहुत ही ऑर्गेनाइज्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, ठीक है।